The most powerful form of love is self-love, what I call divine love. That is your ability to acknowledge that you are one with everything, but especially with the universe, grand consciousness, what we often call God. And seeing that because you are an individualized expression of that, then you recognize that because you were created from the Creator, you are essentially the essence of love. And so when you acknowledge that within yourself, then you begin to practice mindfulness when it comes to self-love. And as we explore self-love, it's important to recognize that to tap into that power of self-love, it is essentially using that power, right, that has animated you, that has given you life, that has given you purpose, that allows you to be here today, is, in a sense, your ability to express and manifest your desires, because that's essentially why you're here. Now, as we get into diving deeper into what it means to manifest desires, it's important that you recognize that there is a difference between a desire and a want. You see, wanting something is usually on a very selfish, superficial, surface level of desire. But it is also an expression many times from the ego, right, of the ego, where we have a interesting twist or view on identity, where we assume that things like our bodies, our skin color, our race, our culture, our thoughts, our emotions, our body is who we are, but that isn't the case. And so as you take this spiritual journey and you understand that you are not your ego, and the ego is a false self, and all those things are not who you are, but just extensions of the experience that you're going to have here on this realm, you begin to separate yourself from those experiences. And you begin to actually not define yourself by the experiences of your race, your gender, right? Your emotions, your upbringing, your environment. But you understand that at the core of who you are, consciousness, which is that the purity of that which we talk about when we mention the universe and being the expression of God, right? An extension of God, connected and one with the universe, then you begin to actually gain power and insight as to what it is you're really here to do, instead of identifying with those other things, you see? So the most important thing when practicing self-love is recognizing that your purpose, right? The best way essentially to practice self-love is to actually manifest that which you desire. Now, again, let's break down want versus desire. Wanting something is like saying, I want $1 million, but you have to get deeper. What's the real deep level, the essence of what it is that you want by having $1 million, right? Do you want a particular lifestyle, right? And that's when you get into really getting down into moving from the surface level of desire, which is very superficial, to the deeper level of desire, which is freedom, right? The ability to move around and be, able to just do whatever it is that you want to do and feel a sense of freedom to be able to do what you want to do, rather than saying, okay, well, I have to work this job. I have to do what my boss says, right? Or going from wanting a relationship, very superficial, to desiring love and acceptance, right? Which is also something that you can provide for yourself, rather than wanting it from someone else. You see how the wanting of something is an expression of the ego, the false self, which is a kind of delusional concept, but very, it really has the ability to seem almost real in its nature, but it actually is so superficial that you can't even obtain it because it doesn't align with who you truly are and what it is that you truly desire. And so you have to go deeper. When you say things like, I want this, I want that, most times when you associate the word want with something, it is coming from a lack mentality of wanting something, maybe because you've seen it happen for somebody else. And so you feel like, oh, this person looks happy and I want that happiness, So I'm associating their happiness with that thing. Therefore, if I get that thing, then I will get that happiness as well. But you are completely a totally different person. Okay. And there's no truth in the fact that they are happy because they got that thing, right? You don't know that for sure because you aren't them. So you have to go deeper for yourself. Okay, yes, $1 million does sound great for everybody. Everybody agrees with that. But truly, what is it that you want? What is it that you want to experience with that $1 million? Because if I just put $1 million on your bed, on your kitchen table, and just say, here you go, and you do nothing with it, it's not going to create anything for you. But really, what will you do with that $1 million to essentially live in a way that aligns with what will bring fulfillment and joy to you, right? We say, okay, I want to be in a relationship. What does that look like? What does that truly mean on the deepest level? Because anybody can just be in a relationship with anybody, but you have to get into the dynamics of relationships, compatibility, and all those things, and understanding, okay, what really do I want? It isn't the relationship, but maybe it's the affection. Maybe it's the wanting to connect with another individual on a very deep level, right? Maybe it's sexual intimacy, okay? You have to get deeper into what it is that exactly resonates with who you are in your consciousness. So you have to go deeper than the wants and go into the desires. Now, as you get into self-love, this is about having a real intimate relationship with yourself and understanding that your mind, your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, your ego, your higher mind, all these things must be aligned in wanting to truly have an experience that is holistically connecting all those things, right? And then you're looking at what will, in fact, create fulfillment and happiness for all of me throughout this life, or even simply throughout this moment. In this moment, what is going to allow me to feel a sense of fulfillment in this moment? Now, people talk a lot about being present in the moment, practicing gratitude. Those are all very valid and very important tools to practice every single moment that you're alive. But as we talk about desires, we're really talking about putting ourselves in movement toward purpose, toward doing what we are essentially custom built to do. All right. What are your talents? What are your desires? What things are you curious about? And it is by following this path of questioning those things, exploring those things, do you get to truly understand self-love. Because as long as you put those things as priorities over everything else, then you begin to take this walk of understanding and loving yourself. Because as long as you decide to continue to go to that job without exploring what it is that you want to do, right, that really makes you happy, and you're not expanding upon living that out more and more every day, then you are neglecting yourself. You are neglecting your divinity. You are neglecting what you are here to do. Now, of course, that could be the job, but most of us know that most of us don't like our jobs. And so you have to ask yourself what really would resonate and really provide happiness for you. Because, we're living moment to moment. Life is not guaranteed tomorrow, a week from now, months from now, years from now. So it's important that you understand that because we don't have an idea as to when we expire, we have to act now. We have to be present now. You have to be in the moment, recognizing that it is this moment that truly matters, that truly exists, right? Because the future does not exist, right, until it becomes the now. And so you cannot just continue to put forward and say, you know what, I'm going to do this later or one day, because one day may not happen. So you have to be in the moment and understanding, okay, what is it that I love doing? What is it that I'm curious about? What fascinates me? What has my interest? Doesn't matter how weird or how crazy it is. We live in a world today where you can pretty much do anything imaginable and make a good living from it, right? And create a fulfilling and happy life as a result of you simply following your curiosities and your passions. But in order for you to attract and generate love into your life, you have to first love yourself. You have to first acknowledge who you are. You have to first explore and tap into what it is that you are here to do. what it is that intrigues you, what has your interests, what piques your interests. When you do that, then you truly understand loving yourself. Then you truly understand really tapping into what this essence of love that is all around us is about, because it starts with you first. If you're not loving yourself first, then though you understand the concept of love, you understand the concept of even receiving love from another person, it is impossible for you to actually truly experience it if you're not practicing it toward and for yourself. So it all starts with you, right? Just like everything else, your reality starts with you. It isn't just something that you just receive and accept. It is something that you create. It is something that you live out. So you have to be mindful about how you're going to experience this thing called love, this thing called life. And first, you must experience it within yourself, for yourself. And you do that by acknowledging that in order for you to truly be fulfilled and happy, right, which you would want for anybody that you love, right? Anybody that you love, you want them to be happy. You want them to live in a space where they're at peace. They are constantly just exploring and living a life of adventure, success, and abundance. Well, guess what? The person that you should love more than anybody else is yourself. Because if you're not loving yourself, then you cannot effectively love other people. You cannot really holistically, you cannot 100% give them as much love as possible. So you have to recognize that first in order to radiate the love, right, that you wish to give to people that you are, have deep feelings for and appreciation for and gratitude for. In order for you to radiate that towards them and express that towards them, you must master expressing it toward yourself first. And to do that, you must pursue your desires. You must pursue the things that you are intrigued by, fascinated by. Because if you neglect that, you neglect the divinity within you. You essentially neglect the God within you, because the God within you is a creator, and it is made to create something special. What is that? What is that for you? Are you going to do it, or are you going to continue living a life of suffering where you are neglecting this divinity, where you are stopping yourself from being the absolute version of yourself? Not the best version of yourself, but the purest and the most absolute version of yourself. Because that's what you're here to do. You're here to self-realize. You're here to coming into the understanding as to who you are, the creator of your universe. And so by practicing and understanding that pursuing your desire is the most extreme, most highest level of self-love, then you get to move forward in this life loving yourself, and thus loving everything around you, and thus everything around you loving you in return. Thank you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, and get access to this free ebook. I also invite you to join my Conscious Creator Circle, which is a prescription-based membership that would allow you to go deeper into these teachings and also open you up to the actuality that you are the creator of your universe. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.